First of all, you're now the official permanent chief. How does that feel?
Well, it's kind of humbling and an interesting experience. It's kind of been a change when I walked through the doors in 1996. I was hired in the jail, and I never thought my main goal was to become a commissioned police officer, never knowing that I'd sit in the position of the chief at some almost 30 years later. So it's kind of humbling, and it's kind of a kind of a great experience to have the opportunity to lead the great men and women of the Yakima Police Department. And I think that they're the ones that do all the work, and it's just someone up here that can kind of point them in the right direction and get them to do the right thing every day. And I think they do that, and they serve our community very well.
Yeah. So you just mentioned that you started within the department and then sort of got hired and went up the ranks from within. Looking back on that journey, what are some of the highlights?
I think some of the highlights are just number one, having the opportunity just to come into the police department and be employed, then get an opportunity to be hired as a commissioned police officer and serving with having some great leaders that I followed and kind of mentored, and they kind of kept me in line when I was a young officer, got me pointed in the right direction, and then I've tried to use a little bit from each one of those leaders to kind of shape who I am as a person and as a leader, and kind of instill that on the young men and women that are in the department and taking on those leadership roles so that we can best serve our community.
Looking into the future, what do you plan to do during your time as chief?
I think the big thing is making sure that the men and women here at the department have what they need to be successful, mentor them to be the next leaders of our department. We're a very young department at this point, and kind of get them up to speed with what they can do to best serve our community. Work with our community partners, work with our local law enforcement, both federal and state, there's a lot of things that we can't do on our own in this community as a police department. We can't police our way out of every problem, so we hope to engage our stakeholders and other people within the community, the schools, and then the other local law enforcement to kind of work together valley-wide to kind of address the problems that are going on throughout the valley, not just in our city.
Were you born and raised in the Yakima area?
Nope, I grew up on the East Coast. I went in the Army at 18 years old. Spent 5 years in the military before I was hired at the Yakima Police Department. So I kind of grew up in Massachusetts and ended up moving out here in the military, and then have a couple kids that grew up here. They went to school locally, and now they're both off. They both graduated college, and they're off and doing their own thing in the world now. So I'm pretty proud of them.
Is there? You just mentioned your family a little bit. Is there anybody else that you would like to thank or?
I think mostly I'd like
to
to thank the leaders that I had coming up through the department. Chief Blasio hired me in 1996. Took a chance with a kid coming out of the Army to go into the jail. And then in 1997 as a patrol officer. I can think of many sergeants, lieutenants, and captains and chiefs that kind of helped give me the opportunity. I think nobody's self-made. I was given kind of the right place at the right time and had the opportunity to learn from them and then develop my own style of leadership. And I hope that when I do move on at the end of my career, that there's someone that's sitting from the Yakima Police Department taking this position on then.
So you mentioned your mentors quite a few times. Do you ever just stop and think that right now you're in a position where you are somebody else's mentor?
Well, that's what I want someone to. I'm the first chief that we've had that's come up through the ranks in a long time, and I would like to see that be the tradition again. There's a lot of great men and women that work for our department now, and they can easily fill this role. It's just having the opportunity to get to the training and experience and then kind of point them in the right direction. I can think of two patrol sergeants I had of Sergeant Hester and Sergeant Jones, and they took a young cop and shaped him into what kind of pointed me in the right direction back when I was energetic, and they focused my energy in the right way. So I think that's the thing. We have a lot of, like I said, we have a lot of great, energetic young police officers that just need to be, they need training, they need experience, and then the lieutenants and captains and chiefs that sent me to leadership training, and then I had an opportunity to attend the FBI National Academy, which was 3 months back in Virginia. But that's a great opportunity to get to see what policing is like around the country, and so had the the current administration at that time not giving me that opportunity, I'm not sure that I would have been in the position I am.
So you spent about 6 months as the interim chief, and now you're permanent. Does getting rid of the word interim, does that give you any extra, I guess, maybe abilities isn't the right word, but does that give you any extra responsibilities that you haven't had for the past few months?
Well, I think it takes the safety net off. As an interim, I was a captain, and I had the opportunity to, if things didn't work out for me as a chief, I could always go back to my civil service held rank. But now I'll scratch that. It's hard to say. I mean, I think it's just knowing that I'm going to be in the permanent position is kind of, I can start to make some changes. We can promote some other people within the organization to get them into leadership roles, because it opens up a captain's position, will then open up a lieutenant's position, and then another sergeant position. So it creates an opportunity for the people within the organization to also promote and take on additional responsibilities and become leaders and mentors to the young police officers we have.
Speaking of your young police officers, as chief, what expectations do you have for the new hires or the younger people?
I think every day they want to go out and make a difference, that they're respectful to the people that they serve in the community, that they're honest, and they do the best they can every day to help solve the problems, no matter what kind of problem it is, whether it's a violent crime or they're following up on a theft or just helping a motorist on the side of the road. I think that every day they should want to go out and perform their duties at the best of their abilities and project well for our agency as well as our city, as a whole.
And then, well, this will be, I guess, one of those questions that a lot of people might have been asking you, but if you could go back 30 years to the 90s and say something to yourself and you were younger, just starting out, what would it be?
That's a good,
yeah.
I don't know. I think probably just as a young cop, do some things differently. I could think of some things that I would have done better. Obviously, it's hindsight's 20/20, and what I'm trying to do now is impart on the men and women that we hire into the organization that you're going to make mistakes, you're going to screw some things up, but obviously learn from those and make yourself better and try not to repeat those. That's all we can really ask of the people that we hire, because we do sit in a different role, and we're in the limelight of the spotlight of the community, but we do make mistakes, and just when we do make those mistakes, to learn from and move forward, because ultimately we're human beings just like everyone else in this community. We just have a different role in it.
I know you're just starting, but do you have how long would you like to be a chief for?
Haven't given it a whole lot of thought at this point. I want to come to work every day and earn my position, and try to make the department better each and every day that we come to work. And then I think everybody says in this profession, that when it's time to go. And I guess when that is, then I'll obviously the next few years I want to really identify the person that could potentially lead this organization when I leave, because I do want to make it so that we hire I think there's a lot of benefit to hiring a police officer or a chief of police that came up through the ranks, and I think that's where I want to do. I'll be successful at this if we can keep moving forward, stay professional and serving our community, obviously make people feel safe in our community, but then the next chief of police comes from within will make me feel like I've been successful.
Well, that's about all the questions that I have. Is there anything I missed that you'd like to tell me or the community? Or
no, I would like to thank the community for the opportunity. Thank our city manager and the council for having the trust in me to lead this organization. And then I just feel kind of humbled for the opportunity, because we have a lot of great men and women that work here, and I think I really want to focus on getting out the work they do. Because like I said earlier, I sit in the chair and I run the department, but they're the ones doing the work, and they're the ones should be thanked for all the hard work they do every day.
All right, and then this isn't as much of a deep question, but you will be being sworn in later today. So until then, are you still the interim chief, or are you already the official permanent chief?
I think effectively on paper I'm the 1st of February, but I think the role changes when I take the oath as the actual chief.
Okay. And
I think that's how it works.
Sorry, I know I said that was my last question.
Yeah, you're
questions
done.
ago.
No.
But how long have you known that you were going to be the chief? Are you able to say?
Well, the city manager and I have been talking about it, and then we had some things that we needed to work out, and she formally offered. We finished that up Friday, actually.
Oh.
Finished up all what we needed to get sorted out, and it was done Friday. So realistically, about 12 hours between the time that it was all done and knowing on the 1st of February that it would be permanent.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah. Did I do okay, I bet?
Yes.